Hey, this is Sully for Antisocial News Body Count Report for today, Wednesday, October the 11th, 2017. And I'm going to be taking you around the world to show you life or death situations, a lot of which might be being ignored or just not noticed by mainstream Western media, which is why I want to put a spotlight on it here as well. I want to talk about any legit news issue, even if it is covered in Western media, such as this from CBS News about what's going on right here in the United States. If you don't know about this, there are massive wildfires in California. Several people are dead already because of this. This is the definition of a life or death situation. These people are being chased out of their homes by walls of fire. It's pretty horrendous. So check out the footage on that. And obviously, if you know anyone in the area, reach out to them. Moving on to world news, we have the first story I'm going to jump to here is about the Isabela killings. There's recently been a few assassination-style killings in Isabela in the Philippines, and the vice governor, Tonypet Albano, is speaking out against it. So, and I'm also including some cute links from kind of a fluffy politics.com.ph, which is just sort of appears to be more of a tabloid thing, but there's some funny things there, just so you can get to know Tonypet, Antonio Albano, and understand, this is a real guy. He's not just some faceless politician. He's a real guy who cares about the situation in his region there. So check it out. Read about the Isabela killings. And moving on to another story, a story that I ironically found out about in Ynet News. And I'm always caught off guard whenever I'm in Ynet News and all of a sudden I see a Filipino story pop up there. But so I dug around to find it on some Filipino news outlets. Here it is from Filipino, from Star Tribune and from Philstar, regarding the Filipino troops finding 22 bodies of suspected militants. Now this is when they're trying to clear out the areas from the Marawi siege, and it's a very dangerous, treacherous thing. That was one of the I felt frivolous arguments, demands by the Maranao victims movement, was that hey, we can't get back to our homes quickly enough. And I don't think they realize that some of these homes have bombs in them, have dead bodies of militants with bombs on them in there. There's unexploded ordinances. There's all sorts of terrible stuff left behind after a military siege with an ISIS affiliate. So this is where people need to have some patience and let the AFP work their way through. Okay, so this is very interesting. Check out these links. There's even a picture in this one. Very rare do I have pictures out of the Philippines there, but yep, dead Maute, dead ISIS wannabes. All right, moving on. We are going to go with what is the number one focus in our title card here. I don't know if it was too subtle. Yeah, that is a giant Myanmar flag there. So I'm guessing you know what I'm about to talk about, the Rohingya crisis. But But I really, really, really want to talk about some of the stuff that I'm not hearing in most coverage of this, and that is the Hindu side of things, which is why I had to do some digging to find some Indian Hindu opinion on this subject. Most of the reporting I get is heavily geared towards the plight of the refugees, but the Muslim refugees, and just sort of ignoring the Hindu refugees and the Hindus who were mass slaughtered by the Muslims, who some of which might be in those refugee camps with them. Who knows? It's a murky situation that's not really gone into in depth in the news. So feel free to follow these links that I'm providing so that you can get a more three-dimensional view of the Myanmar crisis. It is not just the Myanmar government irrationally attacking Muslims. It stems from a very bizarre relationship. Obviously, people have talked about the Rohingyas being looked at as illegal immigrants from Bangladesh, and now Bangladesh is ironically calling them illegal immigrants as refugees going into Bangladesh. So it's they are looked at as perpetual victims, these people without state. But nobody wants to talk about the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. Very interesting terminology there, Salvation Army. This is not a charity organization. This is a group that has been contributing to violence in Myanmar. So read about ARSA, and read about some of their disgusting behavior. It's the fact that I had to dig to find anything about ARSA is sad, because people should be showing the three-dimensional sides of this situation. And here is MyanmarNews.net. It's in the link list. When I see an unsecure website here, it's a little concerning, but we'll let people decide for themselves the legitimacy of this. But this is Myanmar pledges to crack down on Muslim militant group, and this is about ARSA. So read this article to find out more of the Myanmar side of things, how Myanmar looks at the ARSA militants, and then I found some more stuff. There's some graphic images, so trigger warning if you're triggered by images of dead bodies. This is the mass graves of Hindus. So India asks Myanmar to punish perpetrators linked to Hindu mass grave. Well, that's basically what's happening when you're seeing the people flooding out of the area, because that's bad. Well, here's another article about the mass graves of slain Hindus found in northern Myanmar. So yeah, a lot of people aren't talking about this. This is something that needs to be talked about, because I don't know if people know this, but lives of people aside from Muslims matter as well. I personally think it's terrible that civilians are caught in the crossfire of conflict, which is why it's heartbreaking to see stories about people who have been displaced due to conflict. Like these poor people here, it's heartbreaking to see them. It looks like a horrible situation. Can't imagine what it'd be like to live in a Cox's Bazar, Bangladeshi refugee camp, but there's an entire situation surrounding this. This didn't just happen. It's so we can't just focus on one side of this. It's important to look at all sides of this this issue as well. Keep a broader perspective, as if you noticed the focusing of media on the Muslim side of this, ignoring the Hindu side, ignoring the Myanmar side, is really a popularity game, a numbers game. Muslims are 1/6 of the planet. Myanmar is less than 1% of the planet. Burmese people are less than 1% of the planet. Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, no matter what, they're a super minority compared to Islam, which is a majority religion on the planet. It is one of the large religions on the planet. So when you have Irish Times quoting Ayatollah Khamenei on how terrible it is that the Rohingyas are being treated this way, it really puts things in perspective. When you have anti-Semitic reporters from times of India trying to blame Israel for conflict between different Burmese ethnicities, it puts things in perspective. All of a sudden, it got me thinking. There's probably some more sides to this I wanna look into, because I have anti-Semites telling me how to think and how to feel. Maybe I should find out more details myself, which is why I'm really trying to provide people with this information, because no one is talking in Western media, as far as I can see. No one is talking about the apparently mass murdered by genocidal Muslims mass graves full of Hindus. No one is talking about the Myanmar militant group ARSA. No, I'm just not hearing about this, and I very much would like to see people talking about this. So, I would just want to take a second to thank Philip DeFranco for even really putting this story on my radar, which I was really embarrassed when I first heard about this story, because I heard about it from Philip DeFranco, and I was already several weeks into doing the body count report, and I had not seen the story. So I want to thank him for doing this, and I really hope he does a follow-up on this story and brings out more information, because Philip DeFranco is somebody who is known for showing both sides of a conflict. This is it for today. I hope this has been enlightening to you in any way. If I have provided you a news story or an angle on a news story that you did not know or you did not hear about, then please hit that like button, and I think I earned your subscription as well. So thank you so much for subscribing, everyone. Thank you for your support. And everybody out there, please stay safe. And remember that human life is precious.